Hello QEP instructors, this is Cindy. Welcome back to our QEP instructor video training series. In the video that I prepared for the April monthly training luncheon, I said this: one key to student success is the instructor and his or her assignments. If they are designed well, they can lead our students step by step to better writing and critical thinking. Here at the end of the third year of our QEP, I'm more convinced than ever that this is true. Perhaps the single most important element in improving student writing is how well we design our writing assignments. I often ask our experienced QEP instructors what advice they have for new QEP instructors. And here's one response that touches on this very point.
My name is Nolan Boyd, Department of Chemistry and Physics, and I am a QEP instructor. And one thing I can advise to new instructors is when you write assignments, make sure instructions are very clear, because it keeps down confusion. Because we're writing out of discipline. Students aren't used to writing in our classes, and we assume they understand writing, and when we make an assignment, what you get back is not what you expect. So make sure your instructions are very detailed and clear.
So, I know I've said this a million times, but just to keep ourselves straight, our QEP says our students will write 1,250 words using principles of process writing. And process writing eventually leads to a finished product that is both polished and made public. But before they go to the finished product, our students need to go through a series of steps. They need to spend a great deal of time playing around with ideas, rich, full ideas where they can really grapple with a concept in your discipline. If you plan your writing to learn exercises with this in mind, they can be a big part of this first step. Then students start drafting, not by the way that they ever stop developing their idea. Idea development continues throughout the whole process. Anyway, they draft and they get feedback from various readers about their drafts. Using that feedback, they revise. The more feedback, the better, and we hope this results in multiple revisions. Then, when the content is pretty much nailed down, we focus in on sentence level editing. And when we're happy with that, we finally proofread. So the key that we mentioned before is how to design your assignments so that students cycle through all these steps. Your first step is to consider what you want to see when students are finished. Ask yourself these questions. What is the point of this writing assignment? When students successfully complete this assignment, what does it show? Exactly what skills, exactly what content will they have mastered? Bean discusses this on pages 95 and 96. You may want to pause this video now and review those pages. So let's take an example. For one of my assignments in a global literature class, I decided that these are the skills I wanted my students to demonstrate, and this content is what I wanted them to learn. Then I had to decide what assignment will best accomplish this. The first semester I taught these authors, I included a question, number 4 out of 5, out-of-class essay questions that the students had to write. And that's what I thought would measure whether or not they had learned that content. But then I decided to create just one assignment that focused on this, and it occurred to me that constructing a dialogue might help students consider the relationships between these authors. So here's the assignment I came up with. My next step then was to decide what an A paper would look like. When you do that, you should list out what specific elements a paper would have to earn an A. In my case, the thing I care most about is that the students show me that they understand what they've read. To measure that, I look at what each author says in the dialogue and decide whether or not it's a good summary of what that author's viewpoint is in the pieces that we've read. Another way I can tell how much they understand is in how they have the authors speak to each other. For example, when one author begins speaking in response to what an author said before, does he start off with, I agree, you're right, no, you have that wrong, things like that. If students do these two things in their paper, they've covered the content I listed earlier and the first skill set that I listed. I also want students to join the conversation and include their own experiences and viewpoints. This is another indication of how well they understand the content, and it covers this second skill I listed. Then the last two components are to have the students cite the sources correctly and use the conventions of academic English. This, of course, covers my third skill. So let's review what I've done so far in my assignment. I've begun by looking at the end result I want, by deciding what specific content and what specific skills I want students to master. Then I've chosen an assignment that lets me assess whether the students will have learned that. Then I've decided what components an A paper would have to have. So here's what I'd like you to do. Go through these first three steps in designing an assignment. What you will most likely want to do is to start with a longer writing assignment that you already use. Pick one that is central to your course content, and that's the one that you'll make into a process writing assignment. So when you've chosen an assignment that you already like, then kind of go back and say, what specific skills and content do the students need to learn in my class overall, and which of these will this assignment cover? Then consider, write down the elements of what an A paper would look like. If you'll bring that assignment and your notes and whatever you've got with you on Saturday, we'll look at these and move forward with turning these into a process writing assignment. If it's an assignment you've used before and you have a student paper that was particularly good, bring that student paper with you too. So that's where we'll start. We'll see you Saturday at 9:30 on the second floor of the dining hall. If you would, please get there about 9:25 so that we can start right on time. See you then.